Why did Blake Lively submit her complaint to the California Civil Rights Department? I'm going to break it down for you as a California lawyer.
It Ends With Us is in theaters now, so grab your friends, wear your florals, and head out to see it.
Asking for like my address or my phone number or like my location share. Or I could just location share you and then we could...
Blake Lively's carefully curated public image has completely unraveled, and the backlash is intensifying by the second. In just 72 hours, her PR team made 3 disastrous missteps that turned what could have been a minor controversy into a full-scale career crisis, one fans are now calling a masterclass in how not to handle celebrity damage control. The situation has become so toxic that defending her feels almost impossible, and the chaos keeps escalating. As if things weren't already spiraling, her husband, Ryan Reynolds, poured fuel on the fire by dragging Justin Baldoni into the fallout, a move many fans are labeling as quietly shady. On the It Ends With Us set, the once untouchable power couple has become the punchline of viral memes, with unflattering receipts circulating everywhere. The drama is unfolding so fast, it's hard to keep up. But one thing is clear, this is next-level chaos. So grab your popcorn because there's a lot to unpack, starting with mistake number 1, which may go down as one of the most catastrophic PR blunders of the year, blaming Justin Baldoni for the backlash over Blake's interview, an excuse made even more absurd by the internet's very real ability to fact-check everything. Everything quickly snowballed, exposing a string of personal missteps and alleged cruelty that had absolutely nothing to do with Baldoni. During press rounds for It Ends With Us, controversy was already simmering, but it was Blake's own behavior, both on set and in interviews, that became the central focus, and not in a flattering way. Dismissive remarks, an apparent lack of empathy toward domestic violence survivors, and the decision to pivot serious discussions into personal business promotion fueled a growing backlash. Fans and critics alike latched onto these moments, analyzing every word, expression, and interaction in real time. What should have been a carefully planned promotional campaign for a highly anticipated film instead spiraled into a full-scale PR disaster, driven largely by Blake's own mismanagement. Combined with the perceived involvement of Ryan Reynolds, the fallout has created a perfect storm, one that has left the public openly questioning Blake's intentions, professionalism, and overall judgment, all while the drama shows no signs of slowing down and continues to escalate by the day.
On what, could have been one of the most beautiful nights of my life career-wise.
From unlawful discrimination in employment, housing, business, and state-funded programs. As you can see in this chart on their website, you first have to...
Instead of confronting the criticism head-on, Blake's team opted to play the blame game, redirecting the uncomfortable spotlight onto Justin Baldoni. At the time, Justin appeared to be genuinely trying to keep It Ends With Us from collapsing, while Blake seemed noticeably disengaged and eager to be anywhere else. And that contrast is exactly when the backlash truly caught fire. In an era where every moment is recorded, clipped, and turned into TikTok breakdowns, fans dissected those interviews frame by frame, comparing Blake's responses to Justin's, and the conclusion was impossible to ignore. Blake Lively's carefully constructed public image has now completely collapsed, with backlash intensifying by the hour. In just 72 hours, her PR team made 3 catastrophic missteps that transformed what could have been a minor slip into a full-blown career crisis, one that fans are watching unravel in real time. Fans are already calling it the ultimate failure in celebrity crisis management, and Blake now appears trapped in a mess so deep that defending her feels impossible. Things only worsened when her husband, Ryan Reynolds, dragged Justin Baldoni into the chaos, a move many viewers are labeling as subtly shady. On the It Ends With Us set, the once powerful couple has become the punchline of viral memes, with receipts that are anything but flattering. The situation is spiraling out of control, the drama is on another level, and the internet is watching every move. So grab your popcorn because this breakdown starts with mistake number 1, blaming Justin Baldoni for the fallout from Blake's interviews. It's being called one of the most colossal PR blunders of the year, an excuse that only works in a world where the internet doesn't exist to expose her own missteps and questionable behavior, none of which had anything to do with Justin. Even if you've somehow missed the discourse, the timeline is clear. During press rounds for It Ends With Us, a project already steeped in controversy, Blake's dismissive attitude immediately took center stage. Fans quickly pointed out her apparent lack of empathy toward domestic violence survivors and her tendency to pivot serious conversations into personal brand promotion. The backlash was instant and overwhelming. Yet instead of addressing these concerns directly, Blake's team chose to Instead, they played the blame game, shifting all responsibility onto Justin Baldoni. At that point, Justin appeared focused on salvaging the film from becoming a total flop, while Blake came across as eager to be anywhere but there. That contrast is exactly when the cancellation storm fully ignited. In an era where everything is recorded, analyzed, and turned into viral TikTok breakdowns, fans dissected the interviews frame by frame, directly comparing Blake's reactions to Justin's, and the results were crystal clear. Every awkward pause, every dismissive comment, and every uncomfortable moment was preserved for the internet to examine. Rather than strategically addressing the backlash, Blake's team doubled down, transforming what could have been a brief controversy into a full-scale online investigation. At that point, Justin didn't even need to defend himself. The footage spoke for itself. Her energy, her tone, her awkwardness, none of it could be blamed on anyone else. That monumental misstep cracked the door open to 2 more disasters, and the next one may have been even worse. Enter mistake number 2, the planted story. Blake's team resorted to one of the oldest, most overused, and painfully transparent PR tactics in the book, trying to neutralize backlash by quietly feeding a convenient narrative to the media. As interviews continued to go viral and public outrage intensified, instead of taking accountability, her team attempted to reframe the situation as a coordinated smear campaign allegedly driven by fans and journalists. Spoiler, it didn't work. The move backfired for 2 major reasons. First, accusing fans, reporters, and online sleuths of being manipulated is a bold strategy in an era where these same people can dig up what you posted or ate 3 years ago. Rather than calming the situation, the tactic came across as gaslighting, effectively pouring gasoline on an already raging fire. Second, whatever credibility remained evaporated instantly. Telling people their anger isn't real because it's part of some grand conspiracy only reinforces the belief that you're being dishonest. It's the PR equivalent of insisting a cup is actually a plate when everyone is staring straight at it. And even if the story had been planted, which it wasn't, the damage was already done. The negative behavior, awkwardness, and dismissive tone were all Blake's own, and instead of letting the interviews fade from the news cycle, the planted story stunt handed fans an entirely new reason to dig deeper and criticize her even further. Paired with the original footage, her attempts to deflect responsibility only intensified the backlash. We've seen this pattern before, most notably when Amber Heard claimed her statements were taken out of context during the Johnny Depp trial. Same strategy, same energy, same disastrous result. Underestimating the public's intelligence is never a winning move. What should Blake's team have done? The solution was simple. A straightforward statement like, Blake never intended to come across as dismissive, she's deeply passionate about this project and can't wait for audiences to experience it, could have redirected attention back to the film and diffused the crisis almost instantly. Instead, denial and misdirection escalated the situation, setting the stage for mistake number 3, letting lawyers take over. In a PR crisis, lawyering up doesn't project strength, it flashes guilt like a neon sign. Rather than containing the fallout, the legal approach turned a story centered on domestic violence, empowerment, and healing into a chaotic spectacle. Cease and desist letters, legal threats, leaked messages, and gossip replaced any meaningful conversation about the film's themes, and the timing couldn't have been worse. When Blake ultimately filed a lawsuit against Justin alleging a smear campaign, the internet immediately flipped into full investigative mode. Her team may have believed that selectively releasing screenshots would erase her earlier missteps, but instead it pushed her into headlines for all the wrong reasons. Every attempt to contain the damage only amplified it. Taken together, the three mistakes form a textbook cautionary tale. First, blaming Justin Baldoni for the PR fallout triggered intense scrutiny and widespread fan backlash. Second, planting a narrative to dismiss criticism shattered what credibility remained and poured fuel on the fire. Third, handing control to lawyers escalated what could have been a manageable PR issue into a full-blown legal circus. The result was a career crisis few could have predicted. What began as a minor stumble spiraled into a viral spectacle, with Blake's dismissive attitude, awkward interview moments, and poorly executed PR strategy becoming the dominant story, completely overshadowing It Ends With Us. Social media didn't just react, it dismantled the narrative in real time. Fans compared her actions frame by frame, and public perception shifted almost overnight. The lesson here is painfully clear. Own your mistakes, don't gaslight your audience, and never allow legal teams to dominate a PR crisis. Blake's failure to follow even this basic formula didn't just damage her reputation, it helped create one of the most visible celebrity meltdowns in recent memory. The fallout is still unfolding, and the public is watching every move closely. Blake Lively's carefully curated image has completely collapsed, with backlash intensifying by the second. In just 72 hours, her PR team made 3 catastrophic decisions that turned what could have been a minor stumble into a full-blown career disaster, one fans are already calling the ultimate failure in celebrity crisis management. The situation worsened further when Ryan Reynolds pulled Justin Baldoni into the chaos, a move many labeled subtly shady. On the set of It Ends With Us, the once powerful couple became the punchline of endless memes, backed by receipts that only fueled the fire. Instead of accountability, Blake's team chose blame shifting, planted narratives, and legal intimidation, and the internet wasn't buying any of it. Soon, former colleagues, assistants, and alleged insiders began speaking out, accusing Blake of cruel behavior and a toxic on-set environment, claims that only deepened the controversy and ensured the story wasn't fading anytime soon. Former colleagues and insiders claim Blake made their lives miserable, twisting narratives to cast herself as the victim. Meanwhile, the project meant to inspire and empower It Ends With Us has been reduced to tabloid fodder. What should have been a story of resilience and personal growth is now drowned out by drama, legal threats, and leaked texts. The sequence of errors is almost textbook. First, blame everyone but yourself. Second, insist the backlash came from a planted story. Third, let lawyers take over. Each move only magnified public scrutiny. Observers are left wondering whether Blake is surrounded by yes men too afraid to challenge her or by people silently watching the chaos unfold. Either way, it's a PR disaster in motion. And just when it seemed things couldn't get worse, comes the bombshell: Ryan Reynolds' involvement. Unbeknownst to Blake, Ryan's actions may have inadvertently bolstered Justin Baldoni's case. Fans have noticed eerie parallels between Ryan's latest Deadpool project, where he's acting, writing, and producing, and the controversy surrounding It Ends With Us. His character, Nice Boole, mirrors Justin in ways too striking to ignore. From the man bun to jokes about feminism, podcasts, and workplace dynamics, the timing is uncanny. Recall that Blake publicly accused Justin of harassment and body shaming on set, even bringing Ryan in to mediate between herself, Justin, and the production team. Yet in Ryan's film, Nice Boole cracks jokes about an absent intimacy coordinator, a scenario Blake previously leveraged for controversy. There's even a line referencing Lady Boole, a character who just had a baby, hitting too close to Blake's claims of postpartum body shaming. The movie also nods to Justin's podcast, Man Enough, in ways fans interpret as deliberate jabs. The optics are brutal. If Blake's allegations were as serious as she claimed, why turn them into comedy punchlines for a blockbuster? Critics call it either tone-deaf or intentional sabotage. Many suspect Ryan recognized the unfolding PR disaster and decided a Deadpool-style twist was just what the internet needed to cement the narrative. And now Blake now faced the public spectacle she helped create, only amplified by the added sting that her husband may have inadvertently tipped the scales against her. Meanwhile, on the set of It Ends With Us, Justin Baldoni, the man literally built the project from the ground up, was sidelined. Reports suggest Blake took over rewriting scripts, directing scenes, and deciding who could be on set, despite being hired solely as an actress, never having read the book and not knowing the author personally. When Justin offered her a small degree of input, she ran with it, dominating production decisions as if it were her own film. It gets worse. Ryan reportedly offered Justin a multi-million-dollar buyout to leave the project entirely, reasoning this was Blake's biggest film and he didn't want her replaced in a potential sequel. Justin turned it down, leaving Blake and Ryan to deal with the fallout alone. The result, a full-blown PR nightmare. Justin's contributions were erased from promotional material. He was sidelined during press tours, and his pivotal role was minimized publicly, despite being the creative force behind the project. The PR strategy only made things worse. Enlisting the Deadpool team for promotions created an environment that ridiculed Justin and minimized his involvement, while Blake demanded to be the central focus, effectively rewriting the narrative in her favor and further fueling public outrage. Blake effectively turned the spotlight entirely on herself, and the premiere was a total disaster. Critics and fans quickly noticed that the film's original messaging about empowerment and healing had been replaced by chaos, blame-shifting, and awkward public appearances. It's now clear that Blake's choices, compounded by Ryan's unintentional involvement, have completely overshadowed It Ends With Us. What could have been celebrated for its emotional depth and meaningful themes is now mired in scandal, legal battles, and relentless online ridicule. Every misstep, from blaming Justin, planting stories, and calling in lawyers, to taking over the set, has only amplified the public backlash. The lesson is brutal and straightforward. 1. Don't deflect blame onto colleagues. 2. Don't gaslight your audience or try to manufacture a narrative. 3. Lawyers should be the last resort in a PR crisis, not the first. Failing on all three can turn a minor controversy into a full-blown disaster almost overnight. Blake's carefully cultivated reputation is crumbling in real time. Social media acts as a magnifying glass for every misstep, and insiders continue to reveal new stories daily. Even the involvement of a spouse, someone who should have been a shield, has contributed to the unraveling. Meanwhile, Justin's team, armed with evidence and a clear timeline, may now have the upper hand, both legally and creatively. What was meant to be a tale of empowerment and resilience, It Ends With Us, has been hijacked by drama, courtroom posturing, and relentless social media scrutiny. At this point, it's hard to tell if it was a film launch or an episode of Mean Girls Hollywood Edition. Justin and his team were effectively sidelined while the chaos unfolded around them. Cast members quietly unfollowed him on social media, and the silence surrounding his role made it clear this wasn't just professional tension. It was a deliberate attempt to humiliate him. Meanwhile, Ryan, in classic Deadpool fashion, couldn't resist a subtle jab at Justin, because of course, when your wife is caught in a high-profile lawsuit, the smartest move is to publicly roast the guy you're accusing. Brilliant strategy, right? Almost comical if you squint. The legal case is teetering under the weight of their own antics. What was meant to be a power couple play for box office glory has now become a masterclass in terrible PR. Fans see it, Justin's lawyers see it, and now the entire public sees it. If Blake thought she could walk into court unscathed, she might want to rethink that plan. Every misstep, awkward interaction, and shady maneuver is now under a microscope. The drama is escalating in real time. Justin's team has receipts, behind-the-scenes details, and Ryan's subtle digs could even become evidence undermining Blake's claims. If leveraged correctly, it could completely flip the narrative in Justin's favor. What was supposed to be a power move is now pure clown energy. Honestly, this entire situation feels like a train wreck. You can't look away from the public spectacle, the legal threats, the leaked texts, and the social media circus. It's wild, chaotic, and totally unfiltered. For anyone following this, it's a stark lesson in how quickly fame, reputation, and a film's promotional campaign can spiral out of control when ego and drama collide. Thanks so much for watching. What do you think about this chaos? Could this be some of the most out-of-control Hollywood drama we've seen in a while? If you want to dive deeper, check out my other video breaking down Blake Lively's response to Justin Baldoni's jaw-dropping new lawsuit. It's guaranteed to leave you shook at just how wild this fight has gotten. See you there!